Welcome to Fall Asleep To. My name is Boris, and I will guide you into a calm and quiet night. Before we begin, make yourself comfortable. Allow your shoulders to loosen, your breathing to settle, and your mind to slow down. The sound you hear behind my voice is gentle rain, steady and peaceful, like a soft curtain falling across the night. It will follow you through this entire journey. Tonight you will travel on an old steam train moving through a wide landscape under a calm storm. This is not a story of surprises or tension. It is a slow walk through sound, light, and atmosphere. Imagine an old wooden carriage lit by warm lamps. Imagine soft vibrations beneath your feet. Outside the window, the night is deep and dark, and the rain moves across the glass in long, quiet streaks. Inside the carriage, everything is still, warm, and safe. You do not need to follow every detail. You do not need to stay awake. Simply allow the gentle rhythm of the train to carry you forward. Let the soft movement of the wheels guide your thoughts into a slower pace. This is your time to rest, to drift, and to fall into a deep and peaceful sleep. The night settles over the small station with a softness that feels almost unreal, as if the world has taken a long, deep breath and decided to rest. The platform stretches forward in a quiet line, lit by a few warm lamps that glow with a gentle golden shimmer. Their light falls onto the damp stones, creating soft reflections that move slowly with every shift of the breeze. You step toward the platform with unhurried steps, letting the rhythm of your movements blend with the calm of the evening air. There is no rush here, no sense of urgency, only the quiet promise of a peaceful journey. The air is cool and fresh, touched by the early whisper of a distant storm. It carries the faint scent of wet earth, old wood, and something metallic, a reminder that this station has seen many nights like this one. The atmosphere wraps around you in a comforting way, as if the world has grown smaller, gentler, and kinder for a moment. The soft glow from the lamps makes the edges of the buildings blur into the darkness, creating a world that feels hushed and wrapped in a quiet embrace. As you walk closer to the tracks, the silence deepens. The echo of your footsteps is the only sound, softened by the wet surface beneath your feet. You pause for a moment and look down the line that stretches into the shadowy distance. The rails gleam faintly under the dim lights, smooth and steady, as if guiding your thoughts into a slower and calmer rhythm. There is something soothing about the stillness here, something peaceful in the way the night folds itself around the station, creating a small sanctuary between the worlds of day and dream. Far in the distance, you hear the low hum of a coming train. It is soft at first, barely more than a gentle vibration in the air, but it grows slowly like a warm tide rolling toward the shore. The sound is steady and deep, carrying with it the feeling of age and strength. This is not a modern machine, but an older one, shaped by time, built of wood and metal, carrying stories of countless journeys. The hum blends beautifully with the light patter of the approaching rain, forming a soothing harmony that settles your mind and eases your breathing. You stand beneath one of the lamps and let the warm light rest across your face. The soft glow feels almost alive, gently pulsing with the faint breeze. The station around you remains quiet. There are no crowds, no voices, no hurried movements, only the wide sky, the empty platform, and the promise of rest waiting inside the train that draws near. You feel the atmosphere shift as the rain begins to fall more clearly. Droplets touch the roof of the station with delicate taps, each one a tiny whisper that adds texture to the night. The waiting feels calm and unhurried. You notice the details around you with slow appreciation, the wooden bench worn smooth by time, the small iron sign above the platform with faint letters softened by rain, the distant outline of trees beyond the station fence, standing still as silhouettes against the dark sky. Everything seems to invite you to breathe deeper, to let go of the day behind you, and to step gently into the quiet space that opens before you. The hum of the train becomes clearer, richer, and smoother. You sense the weight of the engine moving through the night, pushing through the soft rain with steady purpose. The first glimpse of the front lamp appears as a warm, hazy glow in the distance. It cuts softly through the mist as if it does not wish to disturb the stillness of the night. The light reflects off the wet rails and spreads into a long, shimmering path that leads directly toward you. As the engine approaches, the sound of the wheels grows into a calm, rhythmic pattern. The movements are slow and even, perfectly steady, like a heartbeat that never falters. The steam rises gently into the air, mixing with the cool rain, creating a soft white mist that moves in peaceful waves. The glow from the engine lamps spreads across the platform, warming the stones beneath your feet, wrapping you in a comfortable cocoon of light and sound. When the train finally arrives, it does so with quiet dignity. There is no sharp screech of brakes, no sudden jolt, only a smooth, careful stop that matches the peaceful mood of the night. The wooden carriages rest calmly in front of you. Their windows glow with a soft yellow light that spills through the rainfall in gentle patterns. The steps leading inside glisten slightly, touched by the thin film of water from the storm. You stand still for a moment, taking in the sight. The train seems to breathe, slow and deep, like a living creature made of metal and wood, shaped by time, softened by countless journeys. Its presence is comforting, safe, familiar in a way that you cannot fully explain. You place your hand on the cool railing beside the door, feeling the smooth texture beneath your fingers. The rain continues its gentle rhythm overhead, soothing, steady, and calm. As you prepare to step inside, the night seems to hold you for a final moment, as if encouraging you to release the last traces of the day. The platform remains silent behind you. The warm glow of the windows invites you forward. The storm whispers softly across the roof. Everything around you slows to a peaceful stop, and you take a quiet breath before beginning the journey. You lift your foot onto the first step of the carriage, and the soft creak of the wood welcomes you with a sound that feels warm and familiar. The moment you cross the threshold, the world outside becomes distant, softened by the steady whisper of rain against the window. Inside the carriage, the air is warmer, carrying the gentle scent of polished wood, old fabric, and the faint trace of steam drifting in through small gaps along the door. The quiet interior wraps around you like a blanket, offering a peaceful contrast to the cool night outside. The soft amber glow from the hanging lamps fills the space with a calm and soothing light. It washes over the wooden panels, bringing out warm tones of honey and gold. The light is steady and reassuring, never flickering, never harsh. It creates gentle shadows along the benches, shadows that flow smoothly across the curves of the carriage, as if they are drifting to the rhythm of the train that waits patiently on the tracks. You take a slow step forward and feel the slight give of the wooden floor beneath your feet. It responds with a muted creak, the kind that only old trains produce, a sound shaped by countless journeys and quiet nights like this one. Each step is unhurried, each movement measured and soft. The floorboards carry the memory of every traveler who walked this path before you, and for a moment you feel connected to a long line of gentle, peaceful evenings. The carriage is nearly empty. Only a few passengers rest quietly in their seats, their presence adding to the comforting stillness of the space. They do not look up when you enter, nor do they move with any sense of distraction. They sit in their own quiet worlds, resting, reflecting, or simply listening to the soft tones of the rain. Their stillness helps you settle even deeper into the calm of the moment. You choose a seat near the window, close enough to feel the faint coolness radiating through the glass. The fabric on the bench is soft and worn, shaped by time but still comfortable and inviting. It welcomes your weight easily as you sit, the cushioning molding gently to your shape. Leaning back, you feel your shoulders relax without effort. The world outside remains dark and quiet, with only the blurred glow of the station lamps shimmering through the droplets on the window. You run your fingers along the wooden edge of the seat. The grain is smooth, polished by years of use, and carries a warmth that feels almost alive. The light from the lamps overhead reflects softly along the lines of the wood, creating a faint glow that shifts gently with each slow breath you take. You rest your hand on the armrest and simply listen. The interior is filled with the faint hum of the waiting engine. It is not loud, nor does it demand your attention. It is steady, soft, and rhythmic, like a distant breath. Every now and then a quiet sigh of steam drifts through the gaps near the door, a soft cloud that fades into the warm air. These sounds blend with the patter of rain and the gentle murmur of the lamps, forming a calm tapestry of sound that supports the peaceful mood inside the carriage. You turn your gaze toward the window and watch the droplets race slowly down the glass. They move in long, smooth lines that intersect and join before sliding away into the dark. The motion is soothing in its simplicity, and as you follow one droplet after another, your mind begins to ease into a slower, calmer rhythm. Outside, the night remains quiet. The station lamps reflect softly on the wet ground, creating warm pools of light that look like floating islands in the darkness. The bench across from you is empty, but a soft woolen blanket rests neatly folded on the seat, placed there by a previous traveler or perhaps a conductor preparing the carriage. The fabric looks warm and inviting, adding a sense of home to the space. You can almost imagine someone wrapping themselves in it during a long journey, drifting off to sleep to the rhythm of the train. The lantern at the far end of the carriage sways gently with the movement of the air. Its soft glow casts a pool of warm light over the wooden floor, making the surface shine as if lit from within. The swaying is slow and peaceful, never abrupt, never sharp. It adds a sense of movement even before the train begins to travel, reminding you that soon the world outside will drift by at a quiet pace. You allow your gaze to wander through the carriage. Every detail contributes to the growing calm inside you. The curved wooden frames around the windows, the soft lines of the ceiling panels, the deep shadows beneath the benches, the small brass hooks along the wall for hanging coats. Each one is simple, quiet, and familiar, forming a gentle world built for rest. Your breathing slows further as you listen to the soft combination of sounds around you. The rain outside continues its steady rhythm. The lamps breathe with a warm glow. The engine waits with patient strength. Nothing urges you to move quickly. Nothing disrupts the calm. Everything invites you to settle, to unwind, to drift gently along with the peaceful atmosphere. You lean back fully into the seat and close your eyes for a moment. The warmth of the carriage surrounds you. The softness of the bench holds you with gentle support. The faint scent of wood and steam fills your lungs with each slow breath. Even before the journey begins, you feel the deep sense of rest that this old train offers. It is a sanctuary moving through the night, ready to carry you into calm, quiet sleep. The train begins to move with a softness that feels almost like a long exhale. There is no sudden jolt, no sharp sound, only a gentle shift beneath your feet as the carriage eases forward. The wooden floor vibrates with the faintest tremble, a slow rhythm that flows through the bench, through the armrest, and finally into your own body. It spreads in a calm, soothing way, like a steady pulse guiding your thoughts into peaceful silence. You open your eyes and watch the world outside drift into motion. The lamps on the platform slide past the window one by one, their golden glow stretching into long, wavering shapes across the wet glass. The rain continues its quiet descent, forming soft patterns that move slowly with the motion of the train. Each drop leaves a long, shimmering trail before joining others and falling out of sight. The movement is slow and steady, creating a gentle dance that invites you to relax even further. The carriage itself responds to the beginning of the journey with quiet confidence. The wooden panels release a soft, familiar creak, as if whispering old stories shaped by many nights like this one. The lamps overhead sway with the change in motion, casting warm ripples of light along the walls. The shadows deepen in gentle folds, never harsh, never sharp. Everything inside the train seems to settle into the same calm rhythm that guides its movement across the tracks. The engine hum grows slightly as the speed increases, but it remains a soft and even sound, blending smoothly with the rain and the quiet interior. It is a steady reminder that the train is carrying you through the night with patient, unwavering strength. You can feel the vibration through the bench, each pulse slow and comforting. The sensation moves up your spine and settles across your shoulders, encouraging every muscle to release the tension of the day. As the station fades behind you, the world outside becomes a deep and peaceful shadow. Only the faint outlines of trees and distant shapes can be seen through the rain, blurred and softened by the darkness. The night wraps itself around the train in a gentle embrace, creating the feeling of traveling through a quiet, hidden world that exists only in this moment. The sense of separation from the day grows stronger, like a curtain slowly closing between your waking thoughts and your drifting mind. Inside the carriage, the atmosphere remains warm and inviting. The few passengers who share the space with you sit quietly, their forms relaxed and still. Some lean back with closed eyes, listening to the steady rhythm of the train. Others gaze out the window with calm expressions, as if the slow movement of the rain has drawn them into a gentle trance. Their presence adds to the peacefulness, creating a shared but silent companionship. You let your gaze settle on the window once more. The reflection of the warm lamps inside blends with the soft darkness outside, forming a gentle balance between light and shadow. Your own reflection appears faintly, softened by the droplets that slide across the glass. The motion of the train creates long, smooth lines that flow downward, each one contributing to the quiet rhythm that fills the carriage. As the journey continues, the sound of the wheels on the tracks becomes clearer. It is a quiet pattern, steady and consistent, like a soft lullaby shaped by metal and motion. The clicks are gentle, spaced evenly, guiding your thoughts into slower loops. Every sound blends seamlessly with the others, forming a peaceful tapestry of rain, hum, and movement. You notice the wooden frame of the window vibrating faintly with the motion of the train. The gentle tremble adds a subtle sensation to your fingertips when you rest your hand against it. The wood feels cool and smooth, polished by time. The vibration is steady, a quiet reminder of the long track stretching into the night. It is a soothing feeling, grounding you while also encouraging your mind to drift into a quiet space. You close your eyes again and listen more closely. The rain falls in soft waves, its rhythm changing slightly as the train moves through pockets of wind. Sometimes the drops tap lightly against the glass. Sometimes they move in longer streaks as the carriage glides through heavier patches of rain. The sound is gentle, steady, and calming, like a natural song written for moments just like this. Inside the carriage, the air grows warmer. The lamps continue their soft glow, casting a calm golden tone that fills every corner. The fabric of the bench warms beneath your body, molding gently to your shape. Your hands rest still, and your shoulders feel lighter. The entire space seems designed for rest, for quiet reflection, or for drifting into sleep long before the journey reaches its end. The movement of the train feels smoother now, as if it has settled fully into its rhythm. You sense the alignment between the wheels and the rails, a harmony shaped by experience and age. The carriage sways gently from side to side with the natural flow of the track. The motion is slow and peaceful, creating a soft cradle that supports your breath and slows your heartbeat. With each passing moment, the world outside becomes softer, more distant, more peaceful. The rain continues its steady song. The lamps maintain their warm glow. The hum of the engine supports the silence like a soft foundation beneath every thought. You feel your breathing become deeper and slower, matching the gentle pace of the journey. In this calm space, time feels different. Moments stretch out with ease, filling with warmth and softness. The train carries you deeper into the night with a steady grace. There is nothing to do, nowhere to rush, nothing to solve, only the slow, gentle movement forward and the quiet comfort of the carriage. You settle deeper into your seat, allowing the rhythm of the journey to guide your mind into an even quieter state. The night outside remains a peaceful shadow. The interior glows with warmth. The motion of the train continues in a steady and calming flow. You breathe in, you breathe out, and the journey begins to feel like a long, comforting sigh. The train continues its gentle movement through the night, and you begin to feel the faint shift in the air as the storm grows closer. The first hints of its presence appear not as sudden changes, but as soft adjustments in the rhythm of the rain. The drops become longer, smoother, and more deliberate, as if the sky is settling into a steady pattern meant to accompany the slow journey ahead. Each sound against the window becomes slightly fuller, carrying a deeper note that blends seamlessly with the quiet hum of the carriage. You turn your head toward the window and watch the rain through the soft glow of the lamps inside. The droplets slide down the glass in calm, unbroken lines, moving at an unhurried pace that feels almost meditative. The reflections from the interior mingle gently with the shadows outside, creating a layered scene where the world within the carriage meets the distant shapes beyond the glass. You see the blurred outline of trees drifting by, softened by the darkness and the rain, forming gentle silhouettes that sway with the slow movement of the train. The air inside the carriage shifts slightly, carrying a subtle coolness that slips in through small gaps around the window frame. It is not a strong breeze, only a quiet reminder that the world outside is alive with the soft energy of the storm. The cool air mixes with the warm atmosphere of the carriage, creating a balanced, soothing sensation. You inhale slowly, letting the mix of warmth and freshness settle comfortably in your chest. The gentle rocking of the carriage becomes more pronounced as the wind outside begins to move through the open spaces of the landscape. The motion is still smooth, controlled, and peaceful, but it carries a quiet depth that mirrors the growing strength of the rain. Each sway of the carriage feels like a slow breath, guiding your body into an even more relaxed state. The wooden panels around you respond with soft creaks, each one adding to the warm and familiar symphony of the train. You rest your hand lightly on the wooden frame of the window. The surface feels slightly cooler now, the faint layer of moisture from the rain giving it a smooth, almost silky texture. The vibration of the glass beneath your fingertips remains steady, but the rhythm has softened into a more fluid pattern, as if the train is gliding through a deeper part of the night. You allow your fingers to rest there, feeling the calm connection between the interior of the carriage and the quiet storm outside. The rain begins to fall harder in the distance, but the sound remains gentle as it reaches the carriage. It forms a soft, consistent patter that fills the interior with a natural, soothing presence. The sound is never overwhelming. Instead, it settles into the background like a quiet companion, comforting and steady. You notice how the droplets on the window grow larger before sliding down, leaving wider trails of shimmering water that catch the warm light of the lamps in subtle waves. Inside the carriage, the lamps continue their steady glow. The warm light pools around the edges of the benches, flows along the wooden panels, and rests softly on the floor. The shadows deepen slightly, adding a sense of calm weight to the space. The glow of the lamps reflects off the droplets on the window, creating soft circles of golden light that drift across the glass as the train moves. You watch them shift and stretch, slowly and peacefully, like quiet strokes of paint across a canvas. The passengers remain still and quiet. A soft rustle of clothing from someone adjusting their position blends gently with the surrounding sounds. Another traveler rests their head against the window, eyes half closed, following the slow rhythm of the rain. Their calm posture adds to the peaceful mood of the carriage, reinforcing the sense that everyone aboard has settled into the same slow, restful pace. You tilt your head slightly and listen more closely to the sounds around you. The rain, the hum of the engine, the soft creak of the wooden frame, and the quiet breathing of the passengers all merge into a single, soothing presence. None of the sounds compete with each other. They simply coexist, forming a peaceful harmony designed for moments like this. The gentle blend encourages your thoughts to drift further away from the concerns of the day. Outside the window, the shadows grow deeper. The outlines of trees fade into smooth shapes, and the landscape takes on a soft, flowing appearance as the rain thickens. The lights of distant houses appear as faint glimmers, blurred by the water on the glass, moving past like quiet constellations carried across the earth. The world feels distant and peaceful, as if the train is traveling through a quiet dream where everything moves at the same gentle pace. The carriage sways again, slowly and comfortably. You feel the motion travel up through the bench and into your body, guiding you into a deeper sense of rest. Each movement is predictable, steady, and soothing. There is no tension in the ride, no sharp shifts, only the calm flow of the journey. You breathe in the warm air again, feeling your chest rise and fall with a rhythm that mirrors the gentle movement of the train. You close your eyes briefly, letting the sounds and sensations surround you completely. The rain continues its soft song on the window. The carriage remains warm and inviting. The storm outside lasts in a calm, steady pattern, never harsh, never demanding. Everything is perfectly aligned for rest, for quiet reflection, and for drifting deeper into peaceful thought. When you open your eyes again, the view outside remains soft and blurred, shaped by the soothing rainfall and the warm interior light. The storm is fully present now, but in a gentle and comforting way. It feels like a natural lullaby accompanying the start of your journey, encouraging your mind to loosen and drift. The train continues forward at a calm, steady pace, carrying you deeper into the peaceful night. The storm follows softly alongside, never pressing too close, always maintaining a soothing rhythm. You settle deeper into your seat, knowing the journey has only just begun. The rain settles into a steady rhythm as the train moves deeper into the night. Each drop touches the glass with a soft tap, forming delicate patterns that shift and stretch with the slow movement of the carriage. You turn your head toward the window and watch as the droplets gather, glide downward, merge with one another, and disappear beyond the edge of the frame. The sight is peaceful and hypnotic, offering a quiet moment of stillness that feels perfectly in tune with the gentle pace of the journey. The interior of the carriage remains warm, and the soft glow from the lamps casts gentle reflections across the glass. These reflections blend with the darkness outside, creating layers of soft golden tones mixed with deep shadow. The rain moves through these layers like thin threads of silver, tracing slow paths down the window and catching the warm light along the way. The effect is calming, almost meditative, inviting your eyes to drift across the shifting shapes without any need to focus or think. The sound of the rain becomes fuller as the storm settles over the route. It is not loud or sharp. Instead, it has a soothing depth, like a gentle drumbeat softened by distance and darkness. The rhythm changes slightly from moment to moment, shaped by the wind outside and the steady movement of the train. Sometimes the drops fall more quickly, forming soft clusters of sound. Sometimes they slow, spreading out into long, smooth strokes against the glass. Each change feels natural and calming, like a quiet conversation whispered by the sky. You rest your elbow on the wooden edge of the window frame and feel the faint vibration of the glass through your fingertips. The motion is consistent and smooth, a steady pulse that matches the soft hum of the engine below. The coolness of the window contrasts with the warm air around you, creating a gentle balance that helps your body relax even further. Your breathing follows the rhythm of the sounds around you, deepening slowly as you settle into the calm atmosphere of the carriage. Outside, the landscape remains dark and indistinct. The rain creates a thin curtain that softens the view, turning the world into a quiet blend of shapes and shadows. You can see the faint outline of trees drifting past, their forms blurred by the movement of the train and the steady rainfall. Occasionally a distant light appears, glowing softly in the darkness before vanishing behind the curtain of water. These small, gentle shifts in the scenery add to the sense of floating through a peaceful and secluded world. The wooden interior continues to creak in slow, familiar tones. The gentle curvature of the carriage responds to each sway along the track, producing soft sounds that echo warmly around you. The lamps overhead remain steady, casting a warm blanket of light that soothes the eyes and calms the mind. The shadows across the floor shift slowly with every movement, forming gentle patterns that harmonize with the quiet rhythm of the train. A soft breeze slips through the narrow gap near the window. It carries the fresh scent of rain and earth, blending with the warm aroma of polished wood inside the carriage. You take a slow breath and feel the cool air expand in your chest before fading into the warmth of the interior. Each breath feels easier than the last. Each moment of stillness stretches gently, helping your thoughts loosen and drift. The soft patter of the rain becomes more textured as the train passes through a slightly heavier part of the storm. The drops fall with a fuller sound, forming delicate streams that move steadily down the windows. The motion is slow and continuous, like the soft flow of water down a quiet hillside. You follow one stream with your eyes as it gathers smaller droplets along the way, becoming heavier before it slips out of sight. Then another stream forms, then another. Each one moves with the same unhurried pace, creating a peaceful sense of repetition that encourages your mind to rest. Inside the carriage, the passengers remain calm and still. One traveler adjusts their scarf, creating a soft rustle that blends easily with the sounds of the rain. Another leans further back into their seat, letting out a quiet breath as they settle into a more comfortable position. Their movements are slow and peaceful, adding to the quiet atmosphere that surrounds the entire space. The shared stillness creates a gentle companionship, a sense that everyone aboard is moving toward the same restful state. You close your eyes for a moment and listen. The rain is the dominant sound now, steady and rhythmic, but never overpowering. It rests lightly against the deeper hum of the train, forming a soft harmony that feels natural and comforting. The wooden panels add their subtle creaks, the lamps provide a quiet warmth, and the distant wind moves softly across the roof. All these sounds blend together into a single calm presence that fills the carriage. When you open your eyes again, the window is covered in long, shimmering lines, each droplet catching the ambient light before sliding downward. The rain feels closer now, as if it is guiding the journey, setting the gentle pace of the night. The world outside remains calm and dark, and the interior stays warm and steady, creating a balanced, peaceful space where time seems to slow. You lean back into the bench, allowing the gentle rocking of the carriage to cradle you. The rain continues its soothing pattern against the glass. The train moves forward with quiet confidence. The night wraps itself around the journey in a soft embrace, and you feel yourself sinking deeper into rest, guided by the calm rhythm of the storm. The warm lantern light inside the carriage glows with a gentle softness, creating a calm world that feels steady and secure. As the train continues through the night, the lanterns sway ever so slightly with each movement along the track. Their light stretches across the wooden walls in long, slow shapes, drifting from side to side in a peaceful rhythm that matches the steady motion of the train. The glow is warm and comforting, filling the carriage with a sense of quiet safety. You watch the reflections of the lanterns shimmer across the window. The droplets of rain on the glass scatter the light into tiny fragments that drift slowly downward, merging with the moving shadows. The inside world blends gently with the outside night, creating a layered scene of warm gold and deep grey. The result is soothing, an ever-changing pattern of light and water that invites your eyes to drift without focus. It is the kind of gentle motion that calms your thoughts without effort. The soft wooden surfaces of the carriage respond to the lantern light in warm tones. The grain along the panels glows softly, revealing the natural lines carved by time. Each curve of the ceiling and each edge of the window frame catches a hint of the light, creating gentle highlights that move with the swaying lanterns. The entire interior seems to pulse with a quiet, slow energy, as if the train itself is breathing calmly in the dim glow. You allow your gaze to follow one particular reflection on the glass. It begins as a small patch of warm color near the edge of the window, then stretches downward as a droplet glides across its surface. The droplet gathers others along the way, expanding the reflection and softening its shape. When it finally reaches the bottom of the pane, the light reforms into a new pattern as another droplet begins its calm descent. The motion is continuous but never hurried, creating a gentle rhythm that pairs beautifully with the hum of the train. Inside the carriage, the air feels warm and settles comfortably around you. The lanterns give off a soft heat that mingles with the natural warmth of the wooden walls and benches. The smell of polished wood remains steady and pleasant. It carries a faint sweetness, blending with the subtle scent of steam drifting in from the narrow spaces around the door. You take a slow breath and feel the warmth spread through your chest, making your whole body feel heavier and more relaxed. The gentle rocking of the carriage adds another layer to the experience. Each sway shifts the lantern reflections slightly, creating a soft slide of light across the window panes. Shadows drift across the floor in long waves that move from one bench to the next. The movement is never abrupt. It is the kind of slow, predictable sway that encourages your muscles to loosen, letting go of any tension you may have carried with you into the journey. A quiet rustle comes from deeper in the carriage as a passenger adjusts a coat or a scarf. The sound is soft and barely noticeable, blending easily with the gentle chorus of rain and wood. The lanterns reflect faintly on the small metal hooks along the wall, creating tiny glimmers that appear and fade as the train moves. These delicate details fill the space with a warm texture that soothes the senses. You look toward the far end of the carriage where another lantern hangs from a curved brass hook. The light inside the glass enclosure flickers gently, not from weakness but from the subtle movement of the air. The flame is steady and confident, but it shifts ever so slightly as the train rocks, sending tiny ripples of light across the ceiling. These ripples create soft waves that drift across the overhead panels, giving the sense of a quiet sea moving above you. The reflections on the window deepen as the rain outside thickens. Droplets move in long, smooth trails, catching the lantern light as they slide downward. Each glowing line fades gently into the next, forming a softly shimmering surface that feels alive with calm motion. The outside night appears only as a dark canvas behind these glowing patterns, adding depth without disrupting the peaceful atmosphere. You rest your hand on the warm wooden bench beside you. The surface feels smooth beneath your fingertips, shaped by years of travel and countless resting hands. The wood carries a quiet history, something that adds to the sense of comfort within the carriage. You can almost feel the memories of slow journeys, calm nights, and peaceful passengers who have sat here before, all wrapped in the warm glow of lantern light. The carriage continues to sway gently as the train glides through the storm. The lanterns maintain their warm glow, never flickering in a harsh way, always remaining steady and reassuring. Their presence fills the space with a soft warmth that encourages your thoughts to drift away from the concerns of the day. The reflections move across the glass in slow patterns that soothe your eyes, helping your mind relax even further into the steady rhythm of the night. You lean back into the seat, feeling the warmth of the lantern light settle across your face. Your breathing mirrors the easy motion of the train. The warm glow, the slow reflections, the soft creak of the wooden frame, and the gentle rain outside all merge into a single quiet presence. Time stretches softly, losing its sharp edges as the journey continues. The lanterns continue their calm dance, swaying gently with the movement of the train. The reflections shimmer across the windows. The night outside waits patiently behind the rain, and you feel yourself sinking further into the peaceful space created by light, wood, and slow movement. The train moves forward with calm certainty as it leaves the shelter of trees and lantern reflections behind. Outside the window, the world opens into wide, quiet fields that stretch far into the night. You turn your gaze toward the darkness and feel a gentle shift in the atmosphere, not sudden or sharp, but slow and natural, as if the landscape itself is taking a long, steady breath. The fields roll softly into the distance, their shapes softened by the rain, forming gentle waves of shadow that drift past with the same peaceful pace as the train. The rain continues its steady descent, falling in long, straight lines that shimmer faintly in the warm light inside the carriage. Each droplet becomes a tiny bead of silver as it catches the glow of the lanterns before sliding down the glass. The empty fields beyond the window remain still, allowing the falling rain to become the most visible movement outside. The sound of the steady patter blends with the hum of the train, forming a calm harmony that settles across the interior like a soft blanket. The wooden carriage responds to the open landscape with a gentle shift in rhythm. The rocking becomes slightly wider, as if the train is gliding across a smoother stretch of track. The motion is slow and balanced, encouraging your body to sway with it. The benches creak softly with each shift, adding warm tones to the quiet soundscape. The lanterns overhead glow steadily, casting soft shadows that move across the floor in long, unhurried waves. You feel the space around you grow even quieter as the train enters this open stretch of night. The fields seem to absorb sound, creating a peaceful calm that is almost dreamlike. There are no sudden shapes, no surprises, only large, gentle expanses of darkness blending smoothly with the horizon. The occasional outline of a distant tree or a low fence appears for a moment, softened by the rain, then fades back into the deep, quiet landscape. Inside the carriage, the stillness of the fields seems to influence the passengers. Those who are awake gaze out the window with calm expressions, their faces lit softly by the lantern light. Those who rest lean deeper into their seats, letting the swaying of the train guide their breathing. The warm interior, the gentle rocking, and the soft monotony of the fields create the perfect conditions for drifting thoughts and heavy eyelids. You rest your head against the cushioned back of the bench and allow your eyes to follow the faint shapes outside. The horizon is a smooth line of deep grey, barely visible through the rain. The fields rise and fall slowly, like gentle waves in a quiet sea. From time to time, a distant barn appears as a darker silhouette, softened by the thickness of the falling rain, before slipping silently out of view. The simplicity of the scenery invites your mind to wander without effort, drifting along in the same calm rhythm. The window pane beneath your hand vibrates softly with the movement of the train. The coolness of the glass mixes with the warm air inside, creating a gentle contrast that feels soothing to the touch. You let your fingertips trace the edge of the window frame, feeling the smoothness of the polished wood. The combination of sensations helps your mind settle deeper into the present moment, without worry, without distraction. The sound of the wheels on the tracks becomes slightly fuller as the train gains steady momentum across the open terrain. The pattern remains soft and rhythmic, each roll blending into the next. There is no harsh clatter, only a consistent, calming pulse that supports the entire journey. The hum of the engine adds a low, steady note beneath it, creating a gentle foundation for all the other sounds within the carriage. As you watch the fields pass by, the rain begins to fall in thicker sheets, spreading softly across the glass. The droplets merge into smooth streams that slide downward in elegant curves. The warm reflections of the lanterns dance across these streams in slow motion, creating gentle patterns of light that shift and reform with every moment. The scene is simple and quiet, but deeply soothing, like a moving painting created for rest. The carriage sways slightly more as the train shifts direction, following a gentle curve across the landscape. The motion remains smooth and predictable. You feel the sway ripple through your body, encouraging your muscles to loosen even further. The warmth of the bench beneath you, the glow of the lanterns, and the steady rain outside create the perfect environment for relaxation. Your breathing deepens on its own, matching the slow pace of the journey. You lean back fully, letting the quiet fields become part of the background. The darkness outside feels soft rather than heavy, shaped by the rain into a calm, uniform tone. The world inside the carriage continues to glow warmly, creating a comforting contrast between interior warmth and exterior coolness. The combination feels balanced, safe, and deeply restful. The empty fields slip by without urgency, their silence joining the gentle soundscape inside the carriage. The lantern light glows steadily, the train moves forward with peaceful intention. The rain creates long, shimmering lines across the window. All these elements come together to form a quiet moment where time seems to stretch, soften, and lose its edges. You close your eyes as the train continues along the quiet route. The sway of the carriage cradles you. The rain whispers softly. The hum of the engine supports everything with a calm, even tone. You allow yourself to drift deeper into rest, carried gently through the night by the passing fields. A soft murmur begins to drift through the carriage, barely louder than the rain against the windows. It is the sound of a quiet conversation taking place somewhere near the far end of the carriage. The voices are gentle, calm, and low, blending naturally with the warm atmosphere around you. They are not clear enough for you to distinguish any words, and that is part of what makes them so soothing. Their presence becomes just another layer of soft sound that supports the peaceful rhythm of the journey. You sit still for a moment and simply listen. The conversation rises and falls in slow, unhurried tones. Sometimes one voice speaks a little longer before fading back into silence. Sometimes there is a short reply, spoken with the same calm softness. The exchange feels relaxed, almost drowsy, as if the speakers themselves are being carried towards sleep by the gentle rocking of the train. Their calm presence adds a sense of comfort to the space, making the carriage feel even more like a place of rest. The lanterns above continue to glow with warm, steady light, creating soft shadows that dance lightly across the wooden walls as the carriage sways. The conversation blends with these gentle movements, forming a background hum that is neither distracting nor demanding. It simply exists, quiet and peaceful, like a warm blanket of sound spread softly across the interior of the train. You turn your gaze toward the far end of the carriage, where the voices originate. Two passengers sit facing each other, leaning slightly forward as they speak in low tones. Their posture is relaxed. One rests an elbow on the bench with a calm tilt of the head, while the other holds their hands loosely in their lap. There is no urgency in their movements, no excitement or tension. Everything about their presence reflects the easy pace of the journey, shaped by the rain outside and the gentle glow of the lanterns. The wooden panels around them catch the warm lantern light, creating a quiet frame that highlights their calming presence. A small ripple of light moves across the window beside them as the train passes over a slightly uneven section of track. This subtle movement adds a delicate shimmer to the scene, making everything feel soft and dreamlike. The soft murmur of their voices matches the slow rhythm of the swaying carriage, forming a peaceful harmony that fills the space between you and them. You turn back to your own window and watch the rain continue its smooth downward paths. The reflections of the passengers and lanterns blend with the shifting water patterns, creating gentle ripples of gold and shadow across the glass. The distant conversation is now just a soft presence behind you, nothing more than a quiet vibration that joins the other sounds of the journey. The consistent hum of the engine and the slow tapping of rain form the central rhythm, while the voices drift along like a soft echo carried by a warm breeze. As the train moves deeper into the fields, the soundscape settles into a soothing balance. The conversation grows even softer, almost blending into silence. You can sense the speakers relaxing more deeply into their seats, their voices falling to a slow whisper. The calmness of their exchange matches the warm lantern light, creating a peaceful atmosphere that encourages your own mind to drift into a quieter place. You steady your breathing and feel the warmth of the carriage wrap around you once more. The back of the bench supports you gently, molding to your shape in a way that encourages stillness. The air carries the familiar scent of polished wood and faint steam from the engine. The combination of warmth, scent, and soft sound creates an environment that feels timeless, as if the train exists in a quiet pocket of the night, far away from the bustle of the world. The voices at the far end of the carriage fade into the background even more. You can barely hear individual tones now, only the soft awareness that a conversation continues somewhere beyond the glow of your lantern. It becomes a subtle heartbeat in the soundscape, steady and comforting. It reminds you that you are not alone on this journey, yet the presence of others does not disturb your rest. If anything, it adds a layer of gentle company that enhances the peace. You lean more deeply into the bench and let your eyelids grow heavier. The light sway of the carriage provides a slow rocking motion that encourages your body to relax. The rain continues its quiet descent, creating a soft curtain between the train and the world outside. The murmured conversation blends into the edges of the rain, weaving itself into a soft background haze that supports the calm around you. You inhale through your nose, drawing in the warm, soothing air, and exhale slowly as your body sinks even deeper into relaxation. The subtle rhythm of the conversation, faint and distant, becomes part of the natural flow of the night. It is gentle, steady, and soothing, guiding your thoughts into a softer and quieter space. You close your eyes again, and the carriage sways gently as the fields pass by in the dark. The whispers remain distant, almost like the soft rustling of leaves in a quiet garden. They never intrude, never rise, never disturb. They simply ease into the soundscape of rain and warm lantern light, helping you drift further into calm. The train continues onward, its motion steady and confident. The quiet conversation settles deeper into the background. The lanterns glow with soft golden warmth, and you feel yourself sinking into the peaceful atmosphere, carried gently through the night. The carriage grows even quieter as the train continues into the deep night. The storm outside settles into a steady, peaceful rhythm, and the warm light from the lanterns fills the interior with a gentle glow. As you let your eyes wander through the carriage, your gaze pauses on an elderly man seated a few benches away. He has a small notebook open on his lap, held carefully in his weathered hands. The pages are slightly curled at the edges, soft from age and use, and the man turns them with the slow, deliberate movements of someone who has no need to rush. His posture is relaxed. His back leans gently against the wooden bench, and his shoulders rest in a natural, unforced position. The soft lantern light touches the outlines of his face, highlighting the calm expression he wears. His eyes move across the page with the ease of someone who has read many quiet texts on many quiet nights. The atmosphere around him feels peaceful, as though he has become a part of the calm rhythm of the journey. You watch the way the light reflects off the notebook. The slightly faded pages catch the warm glow in soft patches, creating gentle contrasts of gold and shadow. The man lifts a hand slowly and runs his fingers along the edge of the page, feeling the texture with quiet appreciation. His movements are steady and unhurried, matching the gentle rocking of the train as it glides through the rain-soaked night. The sound of the rain against the windows remains the soft heartbeat of the journey. Each tap and slide of the droplets adds to the steady, calming rhythm that fills the carriage. The older man seems in harmony with these sounds, as though he has spent many nights listening to rain while reading through quiet pages. The atmosphere around him feels anchored, grounded, and deeply peaceful. You notice the gentle rise and fall of his breathing. It is slow and even, suggesting a state of comfortable focus. He reads a few lines, then pauses, resting his hand lightly on the open notebook. His eyes drift toward the window, watching the rain as it creates long, shimmering trails across the glass. He seems content to simply observe the moment, letting the words on the page settle while the world outside flows calmly by. The train sways slightly, and the lantern nearest to him moves in a soft arc, sending warm light across his hands. The glow reveals faint lines on the notebook where the pages have been written on and erased many times. The man brushes a small wisp of dust from the edge of the cover and lets his hand rest there, relaxed and still. His presence adds a quiet dignity to the carriage, creating a sense of calm wisdom that fits perfectly with the slow pace of the night. You shift slightly in your seat, feeling the warm fabric beneath you mold gently to your movements. The soft rocking of the train encourages your body to loosen even further. As you settle back into your comfortable position, you observe the elderly man once more. He turns another page, his fingers moving with the slow care of someone who values each moment of the journey. The paper makes a faint, soothing whisper as it slides over the older pages, adding a soft note to the gentle symphony of the carriage. The notebook rests lightly on his lap, and the man leans forward a little, adjusting the angle so that the lantern light falls just right across the page. The way he handles the book suggests familiarity, as though he has carried it through many journeys, using it to record thoughts, memories, or reflections. His involvement with it is calm, patient, and steady, mirroring the rhythm of the rain outside. You watch the rain continue its quiet descent. The droplets on the window gather in long lines before falling away into the darkness outside. The blurred fields drift past in soft waves of shadow. The window reflects faint shapes from the interior, including the warm outline of the lantern and the quiet silhouette of the elderly man. The combination of interior light and exterior darkness creates a layered scene that soothes your eyes and invites your mind to rest. The man pauses again, this time closing the notebook slightly as if to reflect. He lets the cover rest half closed while his gaze focuses on the patterns of rain across the window. His expression is calm and thoughtful, shaped by the gentle sway of the train. The lantern light softens the lines of his face, giving him an appearance of peaceful contentment. He sits like that for a long moment, breathing slowly, listening to the rain, feeling the movement of the carriage. The soft murmur of distant conversation drifts through the carriage again, blending seamlessly with the soundscape. The elderly man seems completely at ease with all of it, as if every detail contributes to his quiet moment of reflection. After a while, he places one hand gently on the notebook, smoothing the cover with slow, steady movements. The peaceful action adds to the sense that he is not reading for information or urgency, but for the simple joy of being present in the moment. You close your eyes for a short while, letting the atmosphere settle deep into your thoughts. The rocking of the train cradles your body. The rain whispers through the darkness. The warm glow from the lanterns rests softly against the wooden walls. When you open your eyes again, the man is still there, still calm, still gently involved with his notebook. His quiet presence feels like a small anchor within the moving world, a reminder that some moments are meant to be slow, gentle, and fully appreciated. The carriage continues its steady journey through the night. The elderly man with the notebook remains a calm figure bathed in warm lantern light. His peaceful movements, the soft sway of the train, and the soothing rhythm of the rain all come together to guide you deeper into rest, encouraging your mind and body to drift towards sleep as the night unfolds. Near the rear door of the carriage sits a woman wrapped in a soft coat, her posture relaxed and steady as the train glides deeper into the night. The lantern closest to her casts a warm, golden glow across her shoulders, creating a gentle outline that contrasts with the cool darkness beyond the window. She sits with her hands folded loosely in her lap, breathing slowly, in perfect harmony with the calm rhythm of the train. Her presence adds a quiet elegance to the carriage, as if she has long been accustomed to peaceful journeys like this one. The window beside her is streaked with long trails of rain, each droplet catching small reflections of the lantern behind her. The light spills gently across the glass, blending with the shifting darkness outside. As the train sways with the steady movement of the tracks, the reflections slide slowly across her coat and the wooden panels near the door. The subtle motion creates a soft, rhythmic dance of warm brightness and cool shadow, soothing to the eyes and easy to follow without thought. Her gaze is turned toward the window, though not in a fixed or searching way. Instead, she seems to be observing the rain in the same relaxed manner someone might watch a fire in a quiet hearth. Her eyes follow the slow paths of the droplets, her expression soft and peaceful. The warm lantern light touches her face, revealing a calmness shaped not by focus but by gentle presence. There is no urgency in her posture, no sign of hurry or concern. She simply sits in quiet companionship with the night. The wooden panels around the rear door creak softly as the train continues its steady movement. The woman tilts her head slightly, listening to the soothing sounds that fill the carriage. The hum of the engine, the rain tapping the windows, the occasional soft shift of a passenger settling into their seat, and the warm whisper of the lantern flame all blend into a single, calming presence. She breathes in slowly, letting the peaceful soundscape wash over her. You observe her from your place in the carriage, and her calm demeanor seems to deepen the sense of tranquility around you. The soft way she rests her hands, the gentle lift of her chest with each breath, and the relaxed set of her shoulders all add to the atmosphere of warmth and ease. Her coat gathers softly around her, its fabric warm in the lantern light, creating an inviting sense of comfort. The rear door beside her is made of polished wood, its surface smooth and rich with grain. The lantern light reveals subtle patterns in the wood, curving in natural lines that feel as calming as the rhythms of the train. The metal handle reflects the warm glow as the train sways, sending small glimmers of light across the nearby wall. The woman's presence beside the door adds a sense of balance to the scene, as if she is part of the quiet connection between the interior and the night outside. She shifts slightly in her seat, drawing the coat closer around her shoulders. The movement is slow and unhurried, and the fabric makes a soft sound as it settles back into place. Her hand brushes lightly across the wood of the bench, and she lets her fingers rest there, feeling the smooth, polished surface beneath her touch. Her breathing deepens a little, reflecting the restful comfort that the warm carriage provides. Outside the window, the fields continue to pass in soft shadows. The storm remains steady but gentle, and the rain creates broad, shimmering patterns across the glass. The woman watches these patterns with a quiet focus that seems more contemplative than alert. She leans slightly toward the window, allowing the faint coolness of the glass to meet the warmth of her breath. A thin mist forms briefly before fading into the humid glow of the carriage. The sway of the train becomes slightly more noticeable as the tracks curve gently through the open landscape. The motion lifts the lantern light in soft arcs across the woman's face and coat. The gleam highlights her calm expression, creating brief moments of gentle radiance that fade and return in a slow rhythm. You can sense the peaceful effect the movement has on her, guiding her into a deeper state of rest. A soft sigh escapes her lips, quiet and content. She adjusts her position again, lowering her head slightly as she settles her back against the bench. Her eyes drift closed for a moment, only to open again as she resumes watching the rain. There is no tension in her movements, no sharpness in her breath. Everything she does is slow, smooth, and deeply calm. The lantern behind her flickers gently, not with instability but with the subtle movement of the air inside the carriage. The flame creates soft waves of light that ripple across the ceiling, adding to the dreamlike feeling of the journey. The woman remains still, peacefully surrounded by these shifting patterns, her presence steady and serene. You notice the soft curve of her reflection in the window. It blends with the blurred shapes outside, creating a gentle overlap of light and shadow. The reflection moves slightly with each sway of the carriage, creating a slow, hypnotic effect that mirrors the calm within the carriage. Her silhouette becomes part of the rain-lit scene, as if she is sharing the quiet moment with the night itself. The sounds around you settle into a deeper harmony. The rain whispers against the glass. The train hums steadily as it glides across the tracks. The lanterns glow with unwavering warmth, and the woman by the rear door sits in peaceful silence, embodying the stillness of the journey. Her calm presence becomes another soothing element within the gentle rhythm of the night, guiding your thoughts further into rest. You lean back, letting the warm atmosphere envelop you. The woman's peaceful stillness adds to your own sense of calm. The rain, the lantern light, the quiet carriage, and the rhythm of the journey all work together to help you drift deeper into quiet comfort as the train continues through the night. A few benches away, near the center of the carriage, a small child sleeps curled beneath a soft blanket. The gentle rise and fall of the blanket with each breath creates a peaceful rhythm that matches the slow sway of the train. The warm lantern light settles softly across the fabric, illuminating the delicate folds and giving the blanket a warm golden hue. The child's presence brings a quiet sense of innocence and calm to the carriage, deepening the restful atmosphere that fills the night. The child's head rests on a folded coat placed as a cushion, and a small portion of their hair spills gently across the fabric. Their breathing is slow, steady, and deeply relaxed. Each breath seems to blend with the soft hum of the engine and the constant tapping of the rain against the window. The tiny movements of their chest, rising and falling, add a tender rhythm to the soundscape, like a natural lullaby woven into the journey. The blanket shifts slightly as the train sways, but the child remains completely peaceful, cradled by the smooth motion of the carriage. You watch for a moment as the soft fabric moves in unhurried waves, echoing the gentle rocking that supports every passenger aboard. The sight carries a sense of warmth and comfort, inviting your own breath to follow the same slow pace. The lantern above casts a soft circle of light around the sleeping child, creating a small island of warmth in the dim interior. The glow rests on their cheeks, giving them a serene expression that reflects the calm of the journey. The shadows created by the blanket form gentle curves that fold into one another, adding to the quiet feeling of safety and rest. The entire scene feels like a moment suspended in time, untouched by worry or noise. The rain outside thickens softly, and the sound becomes a more textured pattern on the window. The child's peaceful breathing blends with the rhythm of the rain, creating a soothing harmony that fills the interior. The warm glow of the lantern flickers gently as the carriage sways, sending delicate waves of light across the blanket and onto the wooden panels nearby. Each movement of light is soft and unhurried, contributing to the sense of tranquility that surrounds the child. You rest your hand on the warm wooden edge of your seat and allow your gaze to return to the sleeping figure. There is something deeply calming about watching someone sleep so peacefully in a moving train. The gentle curves of their posture, the looseness of their small hands resting beside them, and the softness of their expression reflect the perfect rest found in the simplest of moments. A light breeze flows through a narrow gap near the window, brushing against the blanket and creating a faint ripple along its surface. The child does not stir. Their sleep is deep and steady, guided by the warmth of the carriage and the steady movement of the train. The subtle sound of the breeze mixes with the soft creak of the wooden floor beneath the seats, adding another layer of comfort to the gentle ambience. The passengers nearby remain respectful of the peaceful scene. One person adjusts their coat quietly, making only the faintest sound as the fabric settles back into place. Another traveler leans back further into their seat and watches the child with a soft, relaxed expression before turning their eyes toward the window again. There is a shared understanding among everyone in the carriage that this moment is tender and calming, something to be preserved. The train sways slightly more as it moves into another stretch of open fields. The blanket shifts again in response, rising gently to one side and settling softly across the child's shoulder. The movement is slow and comfortable, matching the rocking motion of the entire carriage. The child's peaceful breathing continues without change, synchronized with the calm rhythm of the train. You listen for a moment, letting the various sounds blend together. The rain tapping gently on the window, the slow hum of the engine beneath the floor, the faint creak of wooden panels adjusting to the sway, the rhythmic breathing of the sleeping child. Each sound contributes to a soothing harmony that deepens your sense of rest. The atmosphere feels soft and warm, as though the entire carriage exists within a quiet cocoon created by the storm outside. The lantern light above the child shifts gently in response to the motion of the train. It creates small ripples of gold across the blanket, softening at the edges and deepening toward the folds. The glow touches the child's face, revealing the peaceful stillness that only deep sleep can bring. The shadows around the edges of the carriage grow slightly longer, creating a comforting contrast that emphasizes the warmth of the interior. You take a slow breath, feeling your own body grow heavier and more relaxed as you observe the tranquil scene. The presence of the sleeping child serves as a reminder of how natural rest can be when surrounded by warmth and steady motion. Their peaceful state encourages your own thoughts to soften, guiding you into a similar rhythm of calm breathing and slow relaxation. The rain remains steady outside, forming long, shimmering lines across the glass. The landscape beyond remains blurred and indistinct, creating a quiet backdrop for the warm interior. Inside, the child sleeps without disturbance, wrapped securely in their blanket, protected by the gentle comfort of the moving train. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the warmth and the calm motion wash over you. When you open them again, the child is still peacefully curled beneath the blanket, breathing softly, untouched by the world outside. The carriage surrounds them with light, warmth, and quiet movement, creating a perfect environment for rest. As the train continues along the quiet route, the sleeping child remains a calm center within the softly glowing carriage. Their presence deepens the sense of peace that fills the night, encouraging you to surrender even more to the slow, soothing rhythm of the journey. The soft rhythm of the journey continues as the night deepens, and soon you hear the faintest sound of measured footsteps approaching from the far end of the carriage. It is the conductor making his slow walk through the train, moving with an unhurried pace that matches the calm sway of the wooden carriage. His steps are gentle and steady, each one creating a soft tap against the floorboards, barely louder than the rain that continues to fall outside. You turn your head slightly and watch as he appears from the warm shadows near the rear. The lantern light reflects softly along the polished buttons of his coat, creating small points of warm glow that shift as he moves. His posture is upright but relaxed. His shoulders rest in a natural position, and his hands are folded calmly in front of him as he walks. There is no sense of rush in his stride. Instead, he seems to be following a slow, familiar rhythm guided by the steady heartbeat of the train. The wooden floor creaks gently under his weight. Each creak is soft and smooth, carrying the sound of aged boards that have supported countless steps over the years. These quiet sounds blend with the patter of the rain and the hum of the engine, forming a peaceful harmony that fills the carriage. The conductor's steps add a comforting human presence to the otherwise still interior, reminding you that the train is guided with care and calm attention. The conductor pauses beside a lantern hanging near the middle of the carriage. The soft glow illuminates his face, revealing a peaceful expression shaped by long nights of quiet travel. He lifts a hand and adjusts the lantern slightly, steadying its gentle sway. The flame inside flickers in response, creating soft ripples of light across the wooden panels and ceiling. The conductor watches it for a moment, making sure the glow is even and warm before continuing his walk. His shoes make a faint sound as he moves again, tapping softly against the smooth boards. The steady rhythm of his steps brings a sense of order to the quiet space, grounding the atmosphere in calm routine. He glances gently at each passenger as he passes, offering a small nod or a warm smile without saying a word. His presence is reassuring, a reminder that the train is moving safely through the night under his watchful care. As he approaches the sleeping child, the conductor slows his pace even more. He leans slightly, adjusting the lantern above the child so that the light falls gently rather than directly. The warm glow softens, casting a delicate, soothing halo around the blanket. The child does not stir, still breathing softly in deep, peaceful sleep. The conductor's movements are careful and silent, respectful of the rest that fills the carriage. He continues down the aisle with the same quiet grace. His coat sways gently with each step, and the fabric brushes against the wooden benches with a soft, steady sound. When he reaches the elderly man with the notebook, he pauses again, offering a small nod. The man returns the gesture with a relaxed smile and closes his notebook for a moment, resting his hands calmly on the cover. There is no need for words between them. The shared understanding of the peaceful journey is enough. The conductor moves on, reaching the rear door where the woman with the calm expression sits. He checks the small metal latch on the door, making sure it is secure against the steady wind outside. His hand rests briefly on the polished wood before he nods gently toward the woman, who acknowledges him with a quiet tilt of her head. The lantern near the door flickers softly, but he steadies it with a small touch, ensuring the light remains warm and constant. The train sways slightly, and the conductor adjusts his balance with practiced ease. His steps remain steady, perfectly timed with the movement of the carriage. The lantern light follows him, creating a trail of warm glow that shifts across the walls and benches. Each reflection adds to the calm, dreamlike atmosphere that surrounds you, making the interior feel even more peaceful. He reaches the far end of the carriage and pauses, placing one hand on the curved brass rail near the door. He looks down the length of the carriage with a quiet, thoughtful expression. His gaze lingers on the sleeping child, the elderly man with the notebook, the woman by the rear door, and the rest of the passengers resting in calm silence. His presence feels gentle and protective, as if he is ensuring that everyone aboard is carried through the night with care. The conductor takes a slow breath, then turns and begins his walk back toward the front. His footsteps remain soft and steady, moving with the same calm rhythm as before. The wooden floor creaks almost musically beneath him, each sound blending seamlessly with the rain outside. As he passes your seat, you feel a brief sense of warmth from the lantern light reflecting off his coat. His calm presence encourages your own body to relax even more deeply into the bench. As he continues forward, the lanterns sway gently in his wake, their soft glow drifting across the carriage like a warm tide. The reflections on the windows shimmer with each movement, blending into the rain outside. The conductor eventually disappears through the door at the front, leaving behind the peaceful rhythm of his steps and the lingering warmth of his presence. The carriage feels even quieter now. The rain continues its steady song. The lanterns glow softly. The train moves with calm certainty through the night, and you sink further into the slow rhythm of the journey, guided by the memory of the conductor's gentle walk. The train moves forward with steady confidence as the open fields gradually give way to the gentle shadows of a forest. The transition is smooth and calm, marked not by sudden change but by a subtle deepening of the darkness outside the windows. You feel the shift first through the soft sway of the carriage, which grows slightly slower and more measured as the tracks pass beneath the tall trees. The warm lantern light continues to glow, creating a comforting contrast to the cool, quiet world beyond the glass. You turn your gaze toward the window and notice the faint outlines of trees forming gentle patterns against the soft rainfall. Their shapes appear as tall, peaceful silhouettes, softened by the mist that settles through the forest. Each tree seems to stand in quiet companionship with the others, forming a natural corridor through which the train glides with calm ease. The rain taps lightly against the leaves and branches, creating a soft murmuring sound that blends seamlessly with the gentle rhythm of the train. The interior of the carriage feels even warmer as the train enters the forest. The wooden panels absorb the lantern light, reflecting it in soft golden tones that seem to grow deeper and cozier. The warm glow pools along the edges of the benches, collecting in small pockets of light that move slightly with each gentle sway of the train. The atmosphere becomes more intimate, as if the forest outside is softly wrapping around the carriage like a protective blanket. The rain outside becomes a little more consistent as the train moves beneath the thick canopy of leaves. Droplets fall from the branches in steady streams that shimmer across the windows. You watch the patterns with calm curiosity. Some droplets slide in long, straight lines, guided by the smooth glass, while others break apart into soft clusters that drift downward in gentle curves. The movement is slow and endlessly soothing, perfectly matched to the quiet pace of the journey. Inside the carriage, the soundscape deepens. The hum of the engine continues its gentle presence, but the forest seems to add its own soft voice to the mix. You can almost hear the faint rustle of leaves being brushed by the rain, though the sound is filtered by the steady tapping on the windows. The combination creates a layered harmony that helps your mind settle even further into rest. The slow rocking of the train adds a steady foundation to the peaceful sounds, encouraging your thoughts to relax and drift. The passengers remain calm and restful as the train moves through the forest. The sleeping child remains curled beneath the blanket, breathing softly. The woman by the rear door continues to watch the window with a peaceful expression, her coat illuminated by the lantern light. The elderly man with the notebook rests with his eyes closed, one hand lightly touching the cover of his book. Their calm presence adds to the warm embrace of the carriage, making the journey feel shared in a quiet and comforting way. You shift slightly in your seat and feel the bench adjust beneath you with a soft, warm response. The wooden frame creaks gently, blending into the rhythm of the train. You rest your hand on the polished wood beside you, feeling the smooth texture beneath your fingers. The bench feels stable and reassuring, shaped by years of similar journeys. The familiar scent of old wood and gentle warmth fills your senses, grounding you in the quiet moment. The trees outside become more distinct in the soft lantern reflections. Their tall, shadowy forms sway gently as the train moves past, creating a slow pattern of movement that feels almost like a dream. The rain continues its steady descent, but the forest seems to soften its sound, turning it into a quiet whisper that travels through the night like a calming breath. You imagine the cool air outside, fresh with the scent of wet leaves and earth, though inside the carriage the air remains warm and comforting. As the train moves deeper into the forest, the shadows outside grow richer and darker. The lantern light reflects brightly on the droplets that cling to the branches, creating small flashes of brightness in the distance. These glimpses of light mingle with the warm glow inside the carriage, forming a gentle interplay between the interior and the exterior worlds. The night feels wide yet close, deep yet soothing, distant yet warm. You take a slow breath and let your shoulders settle even more deeply into the bench. The rocking of the carriage becomes a natural cradle, carrying your body into a deeper state of rest. The rain whispers softly, the forest murmurs gently, and the lanterns glow steadily. Every element of the journey works together to create a peaceful atmosphere where time seems to loosen and stretch into softer shapes. The train moves at a steady pace, unhurried and confident, as it follows the winding path carved through the tall trees. The forest surrounds the carriage like a quiet companion, offering its calm presence to the journey. The cool darkness outside enhances the warmth inside, making the carriage feel like a small sanctuary moving through a tranquil world. You allow your eyes to drift half closed, watching the gentle patterns of rain and shadow blur together. The forest continues to pass in soft waves of movement. The lanterns sway with the rhythm of the train, and the wooden panels creak in warm, steady tones. You feel your mind quieting, your breath deepening, your body growing heavier with each moment. As the train continues along the forest route, the night remains peaceful and inviting. The journey moves forward with calm intention, carrying you through the trees, through the rain, and through the gentle rhythms of the night. You rest in the warm glow of the carriage, surrounded by the sounds of the forest and the steady motion of the train, drifting deeper into the quiet comfort of the journey. The gentle rhythm of the train continues as the forest thins for a moment, revealing a darker shape ahead. It is the entrance to a long tunnel, its arched opening rising quietly from the shadows like an old gateway shaped by time. The train approaches with steady calm, and the warm lantern light inside the carriage glows softly against the gathering darkness outside. There is no sudden shift, only a gradual blending of light and shadow as the journey prepares to enter a new, peaceful space. You look toward the window and watch as the last shapes of the trees fade behind the curtain of rain. The entrance to the tunnel draws nearer, its form softened by mist and the gentle blur of falling droplets. The stone around the arch glistens faintly with moisture, reflecting hints of the lantern light. The rain touches the stone in quiet taps, creating a delicate sound that adds to the calm atmosphere. The train moves forward with unhurried confidence, and soon the darkness at the entrance surrounds the windows. The warm glow inside becomes more noticeable as the carriage enters the cool shadow of the tunnel. The lanterns remain steady, their golden light creating a soft halo around each bench and railing. The interior feels even warmer now, like a comforting refuge protected from the deeper quiet outside. As the train glides deeper into the tunnel, a gentle echo begins to accompany the steady rhythm of the journey. The sound is soft and soothing, shaped by the smooth stone walls that line the enclosed path. Each tap of the rain, each hum of the engine, each quiet creak of the wooden panels gains a soft, rounded tone. The echo does not amplify the sounds. Instead, it smooths their edges, creating a peaceful resonance that feels like the tunnel is gently humming along with the train. You rest your hand on the window frame, feeling the faint vibration of the train as it moves through the enclosed space. The coolness of the glass becomes more noticeable now that the exterior darkness has deepened. The soft glow of the lanterns reflects clearly on the glass, creating warm patterns that shift with each small movement of the carriage. The reflections feel closer, more intimate, as if the interior world is gently mirrored around you. The tunnel walls slip by in soft, blurred lines. They appear only briefly in the glow of the lantern reflections, forming gentle shapes that drift past without drawing attention. The smooth stone remains cool and quiet, softened by the steady rainfall that continues to fall at the entrance far behind you. The deeper sections of the tunnel are dry, and the absence of rain outside your window creates a stillness that feels restful and comforting. Inside the carriage, the sway becomes subtler. The train seems to find a steadier, more even rhythm as it travels through the tunnel. The movement is gentle and balanced, allowing your muscles to relax even more. The warm air inside the carriage feels thicker, like a soft blanket wrapping around you. The wooden panels release faint, calming creaks that echo gently through the quiet interior. The passengers continue their peaceful rest, The elderly man keeps his notebook on his lap, though his eyes remain closed as he listens to the softened sounds around him. The woman near the rear door sits with her coat pulled closer, basking in the warm glow of the lantern beside her. The sleeping child breathes steadily, the blanket rising and falling in perfect harmony with the gentle motions of the train. You close your eyes for a moment and listen to the quiet echoes moving through the carriage. The train's wheels glide smoothly over the tracks, creating a soft, rolling pattern that blends beautifully with the natural acoustics of the tunnel. Every sound feels softened and warm, as though the tunnel itself is protecting the journey, shielding it from the outside world. The effect is calming in a deep, almost meditative way. When you open your eyes again, the interior remains bathed in the warm light of the lanterns. The tunnel continues outside, its darkness steady and unchanging. The windows reflect the gentle glow of the lamps, showing faint outlines of the benches and wooden frames. The reflections shift slightly with the movement of the carriage, creating slow, dreamlike patterns that soothe your gaze and ease your thoughts. The train moves at a consistent pace, unhurried and smooth. The cool air inside the tunnel mixes with the warm atmosphere of the carriage, creating a balanced, tranquil environment. You draw a slow breath, feeling the comfort of the warm air in your chest, and then exhale gently as the rhythmic sounds guide your mind into deeper rest. As the train travels further, a faint change in light appears near the edge of the window. It is the first sign of the tunnel's end, a soft, distant glow that suggests the open night waiting ahead. The transition remains slow and peaceful. The warm lantern light inside continues to dominate the interior, and the approaching glow outside blends seamlessly into the scene, adding gentle hints of openness to the calm surroundings. The echoes begin to soften as the exit comes nearer. The rhythmic hum of the train returns to its familiar pattern, steady and warm. The reflections on the window grow brighter as the exterior light increases. You feel the carriage shift slightly as it prepares to leave the protective quiet of the tunnel. The train glides forward with gentle purpose, carrying you from the cool stillness of the stone tunnel back into the soft rain of the night. But the calm it offered remains with you. The warm interior, the steady rhythm, and the peaceful echoes continue to guide your thoughts into quiet comfort as the journey flows onward. The train leaves the tunnel with gentle steadiness, and the soft sound of rain returns against the windows like a familiar lullaby. As the carriage glides forward, the darkness outside begins to change shape. The forest thins again, opening into a small clearing where a quiet station rests beneath the mist. The platform is simple and understated, with a single wooden shelter and a few softly glowing lamps that cast warm light across the wet ground. The scene appears almost dreamlike, softened by the rain and the gentle sway of the train. You watch through the window as the hidden station approaches. It seems untouched by hurry, as though it belongs to an earlier, quieter time. The lamps give off a deep amber glow that stretches across the puddles on the platform, creating long, shimmering reflections. The wooden shelter looks smooth and weathered, shaped by many seasons of rain and calm evenings. The station feels peaceful and distant, a quiet place where moments drift softly, without concern. The train slows slightly as it approaches the platform, the shift so gentle that you feel it more as a soft change in rhythm than a physical motion. The wheels continue their steady pattern along the tracks, but the sound becomes a little fuller, a little deeper, as if acknowledging the presence of the small station. The rain falls around the scene in long, steady lines, catching the lantern light in subtle, glowing trails. Inside the carriage, the warm lamps continue their comforting glow. The passengers remain restful. The sleeping child is still curled beneath the blanket, breathing softly. The woman near the rear door sits with her hands folded gently over her coat, watching the rain with peaceful attention. The elderly man rests with his notebook slightly open beside him, his head tilted in quiet relaxation. The atmosphere is filled with warmth, enhanced by the presence of the small station outside. As the train glides past the platform, you notice the slight tilt of the wooden roof on the shelter. The rain gathers along its edges before spilling down in smooth arcs, creating soft patterns on the ground below. A wooden bench beneath the shelter remains empty, its surface darkened by the moisture in the air. The puddles around it ripple gently as the rain continues to fall. The simplicity of the scene brings a feeling of stillness and calm that mirrors the peaceful mood inside the train. The lanterns along the platform stand steady against the rain. Their warm light spills in soft circles across the damp wood and stone, adding depth to the quiet moment. The reflections of the lamps on the puddles shift slowly with the gentle movement of the train, creating soft waves of gold across the platform. You watch as each circle of light drifts past your window, one after another, forming a slow procession of glowing shapes that blend into the night. The station passes unhurriedly, giving you time to take in its quiet beauty. The rain forms delicate mist around the lamps, softening the edges of the wooden beams and the scattered stones. The air seems cool and fresh, filled with the scent of wet earth and old timber. Though you are inside the warm carriage, the scene outside feels like a peaceful pause in the journey, a gentle moment of quiet broken only by the soft patter of the rain. The soundscape inside the carriage adjusts subtly as the train moves alongside the platform. The wheels produce a deep, velvety tone as they pass the smoother, well-kept track near the station. The rain grows louder for a moment as the forest canopy gives way entirely, leaving the sky open above the small clearing. The rhythm remains calm and soothing, guiding your breathing into a deeper, more relaxed pace. You rest your hand on the window frame and feel the slight shift in the train's sway as it prepares to leave the station behind. The warm lantern reflections blend briefly with the cool glow of the platform lights, creating a soft mixture of gold and pale amber on the glass. The combination feels serene and balanced, like two quiet worlds meeting for a brief moment before moving apart again. The train begins to gently accelerate as it passes the end of the platform. The station recedes into the darkness, its lamps growing smaller and softer with each moment. The warm glow of the shelter becomes a faint outline, surrounded by the mist and rain. The forest begins to gather again around the tracks, its quiet silhouettes returning to embrace the train as it continues its journey. Inside the carriage, the gentle rocking resumes its familiar rhythm. The lanterns sway slightly with the shift in motion, casting slow waves of light along the wooden panels. The atmosphere settles back into the deep, warm calm that has carried you through the night. You take a slow breath and feel your body rest even more deeply into the comfort of the bench. The hidden station remains in your thoughts for a moment longer. Its quiet presence, its warm lamps, and its peaceful simplicity add a sense of depth to the journey. It feels like a small, silent landmark in the soft flow of the night, a gentle reminder of the calm and quiet spaces that exist along the way. As the train moves forward, the forest closes in once more. The rain settles back into its steady rhythm. The lanterns glow with soft warmth, and you continue to drift in the peaceful atmosphere of the carriage, carried gently through the night by the steady, soothing motion of the train. The train eases into a gentle ascent as the tracks begin to climb toward a quiet ridge. The motion remains smooth and steady, guided by the soft hum of the engine and the patient rhythm of the wheels gliding along the damp rails. You feel the shift not as a strain or effort, but as a subtle deepening of the movement beneath you. The carriage rocks in slightly longer motions, slow and even, as though the train is exhaling with each climb. Outside the window, the forest grows dense again. Tall trees rise on either side of the tracks, their dark silhouettes softened by the rain. The lantern reflections inside the carriage merge peacefully with the shadowy trunks and branches moving past the glass. The rain continues to fall in long, straight lines that shimmer faintly whenever the lantern light catches them. The forest seems to breathe with the journey, its branches swaying gently as the train moves upward through the night. You rest your hand on the window frame and feel the subtle change in vibration as the incline grows a little steeper. The motion remains gentle, more like a slow rocking cradle than a climb. The hum of the engine deepens slightly, gaining a warm, comforting tone that fills the carriage with a sense of steady determination. The rain on the window adjusts its path, forming longer streaks that stretch diagonally as the train ascends. The warm air inside the carriage wraps around you like a soft blanket. The lanterns glow steadily, casting smooth arcs of light that shift slowly across the wooden panels. The gentle creaking of the wood accompanies the rise, adding familiar notes to the evening's quiet symphony. The atmosphere remains calm and deeply soothing, filled with sounds and motions that invite your thoughts to loosen and drift. The passengers continue to rest. The sleeping child remains curled beneath the warm blanket, undisturbed by the shift in motion. The woman near the rear door leans slightly into the gentle sway of the carriage, her gaze still focused on the rain. The elderly man rests with his hands loosely folded over his notebook, his head tilted to the side in peaceful relaxation. Their quiet presence enhances the calm of the journey, creating a sense of shared stillness that fills the carriage. Outside the window, the forest begins to thin once more as the train moves higher. The shadows shift into larger, more open shapes. The rain appears lighter for a moment, falling in soft, mist-like trails that blend with the deepening dark. The landscape to the side becomes faintly visible, rolling gently downward in long, smooth curves that disappear into the night. The view remains blurred, softened by the steady fall of rain and the warm reflections from the lanterns. You let your head rest against the cushioned back of the bench and feel the gentle incline of the seat beneath you. The rocking motion intensifies slightly with the climb, though it remains wholly peaceful. Each sway carries you just a little longer before returning, like a soft pendulum moving at the perfect pace for relaxation. Your breathing begins to match this rhythm, deep and slow, guided by the comfortable rise of the train. The creaking of the wooden panels becomes more prominent for a moment as the train shifts curves along the ridge. The sound is warm and familiar, like a quiet conversation between the carriage and the night outside. The lanterns sway a little wider, sending warm pools of light across the benches and ceiling. These moving shapes drift slowly, creating soft waves that encourage your mind to settle deeper into rest. The landscape outside grows more open as the train reaches a higher stretch of the ridge. Though the night remains dark, you sense a greater space around the tracks. The rain continues its steady descent, but now it falls through wider air, tapping the windows in a slightly different rhythm. The sound remains soft and calming, like a patient melody that follows you through the night. You draw a slow breath and feel the warm air in your chest. Your shoulders loosen further. Your hands rest comfortably on the smooth wood of the bench. The ascent feels effortless, supported by the steady strength of the locomotive. The journey continues in a calm and balanced flow, each moment unfolding with soft intention and gentle movement. The rocking of the carriage becomes smoother again as the train finds a steady pace along the higher part of the ridge. The wooden panels quiet their creaking, settling into a gentle hum. The lanterns return to smaller, steadier arcs of light, their glow filling the interior with a deep sense of warmth. Everything feels stable and peaceful, as though the train has reached a calm plateau where the world moves in perfect harmony. You watch the rain spread across the window in long, trailing lines. Some droplets merge and form delicate streams that reflect the lantern light in soft waves. Others drift slowly along the glass, taking their time before joining the streams below. The motion creates a soothing, repetitive pattern that draws your thoughts into deeper calm. The night outside is quiet and still, shaped only by the soft sound of the rain and the peaceful movement of the train. The climb continues for a while longer, and then the carriage begins to level gently. The change is so subtle that you sense it more as a soft sigh than a shift. The train settles into a steady forward motion once again, gliding through the night with calm ease. The rocking returns to its familiar rhythm, guiding you ever closer to rest. You breathe slowly, feeling the weight of your body sink deeper into the bench. The warm air, the lantern glow, the steady motion, and the soft rain outside all come together to create a perfect moment of calm. The climb toward the ridge is complete, but the sense of peaceful movement lingers, carrying you forward through the night. The train continues along the ridge with calm assurance, and you begin to notice a gentle change in the atmosphere. The rain outside, once steady and full, softens into lighter patterns that move slowly across the window. The droplets become finer, more delicate, sliding down the glass in thin, graceful lines. The sound of the storm grows quieter, blending into the soft hum of the engine and the warm stillness of the carriage. It feels as though the night itself is releasing a long-held breath, settling into a deeper state of calm. You watch the rain with peaceful attention. The long streams of water that once traced the window now break into small, gentle beads that shimmer briefly before slipping away. The lantern light catches each droplet in warm tones, turning them into tiny points of gold that drift in unhurried paths. The softened rain gives the outside world a calm, misty appearance, as though the forest and fields below are wrapped in layers of quiet air. The interior of the carriage feels even warmer now that the storm begins to fade. The wooden panels glow softly under the steady lantern light. The air carries a comfortable warmth, mixed lightly with the familiar scent of polished wood. The motion of the train remains steady, creating a gentle cradle that supports your body in a slow and relaxing rhythm. Each sway invites your muscles to loosen, guiding you deeper into rest. The passengers around you continue to embrace the peacefulness of the journey. The sleeping child remains curled beneath the blanket, breathing softly in deep, undisturbed slumber. The elderly man sits with his notebook gently closed under his hand, his eyes resting in quiet reflection. The woman near the rear door leans slightly toward the window, her gaze calm and thoughtful as she watches the last of the rain drift across the glass. Their presence adds to the warm sense of stillness that fills the carriage. You rest your head against the back of the bench and feel the fabric adjust to your shape. The cushion beneath you molds softly around your shoulders, giving you a deep sense of comfort. Your breathing slows in response to the softened sounds outside. The quieting storm creates a gentle backdrop, a subtle whisper that fades in and out with the smooth motion of the train. The air feels peaceful, like a warm room lit by soft lamplight on a calm evening. The carriage sways gently as the train moves forward. The wooden panels release occasional small creaks, each one blending into the warm atmosphere like a faint and friendly whisper. The lanterns continue their slow, subtle movements, casting delicate patterns across the walls and ceiling. These slow-moving shapes create a dreamy, flowing ambience that encourages your eyes to rest. The warmth and quiet settle into you, guiding your thoughts into a slow and steady drift. You look once more through the window. The dark shapes of the forest spread out below the ridge, softened by the last traces of mist from the fading rain. The outlines of distant hills appear as smooth, rounded shadows that rise gently against the night sky. The world outside feels wide, calm, and entirely at ease. The softened rain makes the landscape appear restful, like a painting created to accompany the quiet pace of the night. The rhythm of the train remains steady, carrying you forward with gentle consistency. The hum of the engine becomes smoother now that the storm has lightened. The wheels create a comforting pattern along the tracks, steady and quiet, forming a soft lullaby that supports the calm atmosphere. The fading storm adds a subtle freshness to the air, a coolness that mixes with the warm lantern glow to create a perfect balance. You feel the calm settling deeper into your chest, your shoulders loosen, your hands rest softly beside you. The warm light, the softened rain, and the slow rocking of the train combine into an atmosphere that makes your eyelids feel heavy. You allow them to drift half closed, watching the blurred lantern reflections on the window with gentle ease. The movement of the droplets slows further, forming lazy paths that encourage your breathing to follow the same relaxed pace. Inside the carriage, a soft sigh from one of the passengers dissolves into the warm air. A coat shifts gently on a bench as someone adjusts their position. Each sound is quiet and unhurried, blending seamlessly with the fading storm. The mix of subtle movements and soft sounds creates a wrapped, cocoon-like sense of safety that makes the journey feel timeless. The train glides forward across the ridge, its steady motion carrying you deeper into rest. The softened rain continues to create delicate sounds on the window, each tap gentle and comforting. The lanterns glow warmly, creating an intimate space that feels separate from the world outside. Your breathing slows, guided by the calming rise and fall of the carriage. As the storm fades completely, the night reveals itself as a vast, quiet companion. The clouds thin, letting a deeper darkness settle across the landscape. The air remains cool and fresh, while the interior of the carriage stays warm and inviting. The journey continues in perfect balance, carrying you forward through the soft quiet of the late night. You allow your eyes to close for a moment, feeling your body sink even deeper into relaxation. The train moves with gentle purpose. The fading rain rests softly against the windows. The warm glow of the lanterns surrounds you, and you settle into the peaceful calm of the night as the journey flows onward. The fading storm leaves behind a soft hush that settles over the landscape as the train continues along the ridge. The night remains deep and calm, but now, far ahead in the distance, a gentle glow begins to appear. It is faint at first, nothing more than a soft blur on the horizon. Slowly, the glow strengthens, revealing the first quiet signs of a distant town resting beneath the night sky. The gentle lights shimmer through the mist, softened by the last traces of rain still drifting through the air. You lean slightly toward the window and take in the sight. The lights are warm and muted, scattered across the landscape like tiny lanterns placed carefully in the dark. Some glow softly in golden tones, while others appear in faint shades of pale amber. Their presence adds a quiet comfort to the journey, creating a sense of peaceful anticipation as the train moves steadily toward them. The cool air outside and the warm lantern light inside create a calm balance that settles deeply into your mind. The lanterns within the carriage continue to glow with gentle warmth. Their reflections dance softly across the window, merging with the distant lights outside to create a layered mosaic of gold and shadow. The faint movement of the train causes the reflections to stretch and sway in slow arcs, adding a dreamlike quality to the view. The wooden panels surrounding the window hold the warm light in smooth curves, making the interior feel sheltered and safe as the world outside quietly opens. The passengers shift slightly, responding to the soft change in atmosphere. The sleeping child remains curled beneath the blanket, peaceful and calm. The elderly man with the notebook lifts his head briefly, glancing toward the faint glow before closing his eyes again in quiet appreciation. The woman near the rear door watches the scene with gentle focus, her posture relaxed as the lights draw closer. Their quiet presence adds to the shared warmth of the carriage, creating a sense of connection between everyone aboard. The train sways gently as it descends from the ridge and approaches flatter ground. The rocking remains slow and measured, guiding your body into deeper relaxation. The rain has faded to a fine mist that barely taps the windows, leaving only a soft shimmer across the glass. The cool night air mixes faintly with the warm scent of polished wood inside, creating a perfect environment for rest. You focus again on the lights ahead. The glow grows slowly brighter as the train approaches, though the lights remain soft and peaceful. They spread across the landscape in gentle clusters, revealing the outline of small streets and wooden roofs hidden in the quiet night. The shapes are blurred by the mist, giving the town a dreamy appearance, as though it rises slowly from the calm darkness like a quiet memory. The lights glow without hurry, welcoming the approaching train with warmth rather than urgency. You can imagine the stillness of the streets below, empty and peaceful beneath the fading storm. The glow from the lanterns and homes appears steady, offering a sense of comfort to anyone passing through. The scene outside complements the interior of the carriage perfectly, both worlds blending into a single, soothing atmosphere shaped by warmth, calm, and gentle motion. The wooden floor beneath your feet creaks softly as the train shifts into a smoother rhythm. The wheels glide along the tracks with a quiet confidence, creating a steady sound that supports the peaceful environment. The hum of the engine remains low and even, carrying the train forward without strain. The gentle sounds combine with the faint glow outside to create a harmonious feeling of moving toward a place of rest. You let your hand rest on the warm wooden armrest beside you. The surface feels solid and reassuring, shaped by years of journeys through nights like this one. The lantern above reflects lightly across the wood, creating small highlights that shift slowly with the movement of the train. The simple, familiar details anchor you in the present moment, helping you to drift even more deeply into calm. The mist outside thins as the train draws nearer to the town. The lights become clearer, revealing faint outlines of windows and rooftops. The shapes appear soft and rounded, touched by the calm glow of lanterns hanging along quiet streets. The rain has nearly stopped, leaving only a delicate moisture in the air that catches the light in gentle sparkles. The scene feels warm and peaceful, like a quiet invitation at the end of a long and restful journey. Inside the carriage, the lanterns sway slightly with the changing motion. Their glow deepens the warm tones of the wooden panels, creating an intimate atmosphere that feels protective and serene. The slow rocking of the train supports your breath, guiding it into a soft and even rhythm. Your eyelids grow heavy as you watch the gentle lights outside, each one adding to the sense of calm that fills the night. The town draws closer in slow, peaceful steps. The lights shimmer across the mist, forming small glowing clusters that guide the train toward them. The carriage remains wrapped in warmth and quiet, carrying you through the soft transition from open forest to the edge of a sleeping town. The journey feels smooth and comforting, like a gentle cradle moving through the night. You take a slow, deep breath and feel the warmth of the carriage settle comfortably around you. The fading storm, the soft glow of the distant lights, and the steady rhythm of the train all work together to create a perfect moment of relaxation. As the town comes into clearer view, the journey continues to unfold with deep calm, guiding you gently toward the next quiet moment. The train moves steadily toward the quiet town ahead, and the warm lantern light inside the carriage continues to glow with soft, comforting warmth. The distant lights become clearer as the train draws nearer, forming gentle clusters that guide the journey through the night. The landscape outside remains calm and misty, shaped by the last traces of the fading storm. Each passing moment feels slow and peaceful, inviting your body to sink deeper into rest. You lean back against the cushioned bench and feel the gentle sway of the train deepen into a slower, more rhythmic motion. The rocking becomes smoother, as though the rails themselves are settling into a gentle curve toward the station. The soft hum of the engine takes on a slightly lower tone, a warm and steady sound that fills the carriage with a comforting presence. The vibration underfoot grows softer, signaling the gradual transition into the gentle pace of arrival. The lanterns sway subtly overhead, their golden light drifting across the wooden walls in slow, even arcs. The warm glow touches the benches, the ceiling, and the curved edges of the windows, creating an intimate atmosphere that feels even more peaceful with each passing moment. The air inside the carriage remains warm and still, carrying the familiar scent of polished wood and the faintest hint of cool air seeping through the window frame. Everything feels calm, balanced, and deeply soothing. You watch the blurred shapes of the town through the window. The mist softens every outline, giving the houses and small buildings a gentle, dreamlike quality. Lanterns along the quiet streets glow steadily, casting soft reflections across the damp ground. Some lights appear behind windows, warm and inviting, while others line the pathways that weave through the town. The gentle glow from these lights blends seamlessly with the warm reflections inside the carriage, creating a layered tapestry of gold and shadow. The passengers respond quietly to the approaching station. The elderly man rests his hand more firmly on his closed notebook, though he remains calm and relaxed. His breathing is slow, steady, and at ease. The sleeping child shifts slightly beneath the soft blanket, turning their head without waking. The woman near the rear door lifts her gaze from the window for a moment, noticing the soft lights outside, before returning to her peaceful posture. Their quiet presence enhances the comfort of the carriage, reinforcing the shared sense of calm as the journey nears its end. The train sways gently as it continues along the final stretch of track. The wheels produce a soft, rolling sound that blends beautifully with the quiet night. The hum of the engine remains warm, steady, and reassuring. The rain has nearly disappeared, leaving only a faint moisture on the glass that reflects the town's glowing lights in softened, shimmering patterns. You watch these patterns drift slowly across the window, their movement matching the unhurried pace of the approaching arrival. The wooden panels of the carriage respond with familiar, warm creaks whenever the train shifts slightly along the curved track. These subtle sounds add depth to the quiet environment, like soft whispers woven into the atmosphere. The lanterns continue their gentle swaying, casting long, soothing shadows that ripple along the walls. The slow, rhythmic motion encourages your breath to deepen, matching the calm pulse of the journey. As the train moves closer to the station, the lights of the town become clearer. You can make out the faint outlines of small buildings with gently sloping roofs, a few lampposts standing quietly along the pathways, and the soft shimmer of windows reflecting the interior lantern light. Even from this distance, the scene radiates warmth and stillness, as though the entire town is resting peacefully under the soft glow of the night. You rest your hand lightly on the edge of the window frame and feel the faint coolness of the glass beneath your fingertips. The sensation is gentle and grounding, adding to the sense of calm that fills your body. The train continues its steady, slow pace, guiding you closer to the platform with a reassuring consistency. The sway of the carriage supports your shoulders, encouraging your body to release whatever tension remains. The lights outside begin to drift closer, one by one. A soft lantern near the station seems to glow brighter as the train approaches. Its warm light reflects across a wide stretch of smooth stone, creating a long path of gold that gently ripples with the last remnants of moisture. The station itself begins to take shape as a quiet structure with a single roof, resting against the calm backdrop of the town. The glow of its lanterns spills across the ground in soft halos. The hum of the engine softens further as the train prepares for arrival. The rocking becomes even gentler, almost like a calm embrace holding the journey in a peaceful pause. The warm light inside the carriage remains steady, providing the perfect contrast to the cool, misty air outside. You feel your breathing slow as your eyelids grow heavy, encouraged by the cozy atmosphere and the unhurried pace of the train. The town now stands close, its lights gently reaching through the window and blending with the warm lantern glow inside. The quiet scene, the gentle sway of the carriage, and the soft rhythms of the night create a peaceful approach to the station. Everything feels calm, balanced, and perfectly aligned for rest. The train continues forward with slow certainty, easing through the final moments of the journey with the same gentle grace that has carried you through the night. The quiet town awaits with soft light and peaceful stillness, and you remain wrapped in the warm, comforting atmosphere of the carriage, guided gently toward the final stop. The train begins its slow glide along the final stretch of track, preparing to come to rest beside the quiet platform. The motion remains gentle and steady, as though the train is taking great care not to disturb the calm night that surrounds the small town. The lights outside grow clearer through the soft mist, and the reflections of the lanterns stretch in long, warm shapes across the glass. The atmosphere inside the carriage deepens into a warm, peaceful stillness. You feel the gentle reduction in speed through the subtle change in the carriage's sway. The rocking becomes even softer, settling into a slow, almost floating rhythm that encourages your breathing to deepen. The hum of the engine lowers into a deep, restful tone. The lanterns overhead glow steadily, their warm light creating pools of gold along the benches and wooden panels. The entire interior feels like a safe haven, held softly within the night. Outside the window, the platform appears in a warm halo of lantern light. The wooden beams of the small shelter glisten faintly with moisture left behind by the fading storm. The surface of the platform is smooth and damp, reflecting the soft lights in shimmering stretches that move gently with the mist. The air above it seems still and cool, carrying the faint scent of rain-soaked timber and fresh night air. The train eases to a stop with a quiet sigh, the wheels settling into stillness without a single jolt. The subtle vibration beneath your feet fades until only the soft presence of the warm carriage remains. The passengers remain calm in their restful positions. The sleeping child remains deep in peaceful slumber, the blanket rising and falling with each slow breath. The elderly man rests with his hand still on his notebook, his posture serene. The woman near the rear door watches the window with gentle eyes, taking in the warm lights of the quiet platform. A small pause settles over the carriage, a moment of pure stillness where even the air seems to rest. The lanterns sway slightly as the train settles completely, creating gentle ripples of light across the wooden walls. The stillness feels comforting, offering a soft transition between the warm interior and the calm night outside. You rise slowly from your seat, feeling the bench give a quiet creak beneath you. The wooden floor feels warm under your feet, steady and familiar. The air of the carriage wraps around you like a warm blanket as you take a few unhurried steps toward the door. The lantern above the exit casts a soft glow across the polished metal handle, making it gleam like a quiet beacon in the night. When you open the door, a gentle breath of cool night air moves into the carriage. It carries the fresh scent of rain, the earthy aroma of wet stone, and the mild sweetness of the wooden platform. The coolness touches your skin with a delicate whisper, creating a gentle contrast to the warm interior you step out from. The transition is slow and smooth, like stepping from one calm world into another. You place your foot onto the platform, and the polished surface feels slightly cool beneath your weight. The damp wood has a soft gleam under the lanterns that stand along the small shelter. Their warm glow spreads in smooth circles across the surface, creating a peaceful play of light and shadow. The soft mist that lingers in the air moves gently through the beams of the lamps, adding a dreamy quality to the quiet night. The soundscape shifts as you stand outside the train. The faint hum of the locomotive rests behind you, muted and gentle. The rain has nearly vanished, leaving behind only a soft tapping of the last few droplets falling from the shelter's roof. The air carries the subdued sounds of a sleeping town, peaceful and distant. The atmosphere feels open but calm, filled with quiet promise rather than activity. The platform is empty, except for the soft glow of the lamps and the smooth shapes of the wooden beams. The stillness of the night gives the place a serene sense of solitude. You take another slow breath, absorbing the freshness of the air. The quiet around you feels comforting rather than lonely. It is the kind of quiet that invites you to slow down, to rest, to appreciate the gentle beauty of a calm night. The train remains beside you with a steady presence. The warm lanterns inside cast a golden light along the windows, reflecting in soft patterns across the side of the carriage. The gentle shape of the wooden door frames the glow, creating an inviting contrast between the warm interior and the cool night outside. The peaceful harmony between both spaces makes the moment feel balanced and safe. As you step a little further along the platform, the mist swirls gently around your feet. The soft lantern light catches the fine droplets in the air, making them shimmer like tiny stars drifting close to the ground. The rhythm of your breathing matches the quiet stillness of the night. Your shoulders loosen, your body grows heavier, and your thoughts become quiet and slow. You look back toward the carriage and see the passengers resting in the warm glow of the interior. Their calm, relaxed forms add to the sense of peace that surrounds the platform. The night feels patient and kind, carrying the lingering warmth of the journey while offering the gentle coolness of the fresh air outside. You take one final slow breath, feeling the serenity of the platform, the warmth of the carriage, and the softness of the mist all merge into a single, soothing moment. The night settles around you like a peaceful cloak, wrapping the entire scene in quiet comfort. The train rests at the platform with gentle stillness. The lanterns glow warmly, the town sleeps in soft silence, and you stand within the calm embrace of the night, carried by the peaceful end of the journey. The night grows softer as the journey comes to an end, and you remain wrapped in the gentle calm created by the warm lantern light, the quiet platform, and the steady rhythm of the train. The storm has faded, the mist has settled, and the world around you feels peaceful and still. Every sound is gentle now, every movement slow and steady, guiding your thoughts toward deeper rest. You take a final quiet breath and allow the calm of the moment to settle within you. The warm interior of the carriage, the soft glow of the lanterns, the gentle rain against the windows, and the steady rocking of the train have all created a space where your body can relax and your mind can drift. The peaceful scenes of the night remain with you, supporting you like a soft, warm blanket as you continue to unwind. The train rests at the quiet station. The town sleeps nearby, and the night unfolds in calm layers of cool air and warm light. This is your moment to release the last of the day and allow yourself to fall into deep and gentle sleep. Let the softness of the night surround you. Let the calm rhythm of the journey carry you, and let your thoughts drift peacefully into rest as you fall asleep to the quiet comfort of the night.